Yeah, where is it?
It's over here. Follow me.
There we go.
Okay, here we are. So, hi, this is David Sereda. I'm going to tell you the story today of how I created the Lightstream wand in the year 2007. I had been working on this for years, and this is very heavy. This Lightstream wand, we use flashlights as a container, and we put a tourmaline crystal core electrode in the center, and then we put lab grown rubies, and in this case this one has amethyst. You can get sapphires, and you can get all sorts of gems, and the face is pure lab grown quartz crystal. And my first case was a woman whose daughter had fallen off the dryer and broke her collarbone, and her child had lost all mobility in one of her arms, the arm from the collar she broke, and the doctors were going to do nerve grafting. And at the time, I was only selling the frequency charged pendants, the jewelry, and we were getting a lot of results with these are also on my website at davidsereda.co. Actually, in this new series, what I'm going to be doing is taking you through every week one of my products, and you can see the benefits of owning one of these systems for yourself or your family or for your healing practice. Anyway, in this particular case, I said it's going to take 3 months, so you got to be really patient. You got to use this every day. And on the other end of this long speaker wire, we have a positive and negative, a red and a black lead, and it just connects into the back of a regular stereo amplifier. It's just like plugging in a speaker on one of the channels, and your input is an iPad or iPhone or any device that can store music files, because the frequency files that I created are just like playing a song. So it's very simple. It's just like playing a song, but what comes out of the wand is a magnetic pulsing wave. And so what I had the mother do is use this on her daughter's collarbone and arm and hand. And I was exactly right. At the 3-month mark, her daughter started moving her hand again. And I said, keep doing it. Don't stop. And see, our nervous system is an electrical system. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's an electrical system, which is why you can get electrocuted and very easily by sticking your finger in a socket. If we weren't conductive to electricity, then you couldn't be electrocuted. But basically, because we're an electrical system, our brain and nervous system run all sorts of photoelectric chemicals, neurotransmitters. There's over 100 neurotransmitting chemicals in the nervous system. But we also run positive and negative ions. And an ion is any atom made of anything: gold, silver, zinc, copper, hydrogen, oxygen, potassium, with an extra negative or positive electron charge on it. So that's what an ion is. And negative ions are receiving and positive ions are emitting. And basically, if you can repair or invigorate using electromagnetic pulses coming from this device, the nervous system, the body, you can re-energize the body's endocrine system. The endocrine system are all our glands, which start near the base of the spine. The reproductive system, adrenal glands, are at the top of the kidneys, and then you get into the pancreas, and you get into thymus gland, which is heart, lung, and you get into pituitary and pineal gland, etc. There's a lot of glands within the endocrine system, but you can stimulate theoretically the body's electrical system and bring back vitality, energy, and get real results. Now, medically, I can't legally say that we can cure anything at all, because you can't legally make that claim, and that's to protect the doctors. However, I've had doctors, practitioners, chiropractors, all sorts of people use my wands on subjects and get tremendous results. Yet, even though I get those results, I still can't in any literature state that they'll do anything for you. And that's just how messed up our medical system is. There are so many people that can testify what's happened to them from using one of my systems, but even that cannot be proven legally to be the cause of their remission of anything, of any disease or anything. And again, that's just how messed up our medical system is. Why haven't they done a complete study using my systems that I started developing in the year 2005, 2006, 2007? And prior to that, I was appointed the director of the Los Angeles Tesla Foundation by an MIT physicist, nuclear fusion physicist named Bogdan Castle Maglich. So it's not a frequency that repairs nerves. It's a harmony and a pulsed. See, our sun, for example, is pulsing. It's got an actual pulse, and NASA recorded an actual audio file of the magnetic pulses coming off the sun, and that's what we ran through the wand to help this child's nerves reconnect and start functioning again, so she had motor function of her hand and her arm again. Now, it can make no sense to a mainstream medical doctor that that's possible, because they have their beliefs. Yet what they were going to do to this child is take nerves from somewhere else in her body and transfer them into her arm. And the mother was horrified by that. So I said, just try this, because if it doesn't work, then you can look at your other possibilities. But in 3 months, it was working. And then I started getting more and more and more people using these things. We had a nurse who was using them full time and turning people around. So where does this all start? I can't say frequency healing starts with Royal Rife, but Rife is an early, I mean, you can call him a healing professional who built the first 30,000 time optical microscope to look at pathogens and viruses live while pulsing them with certain frequencies. He found certain frequencies would disable certain pathogens, viruses, etc., and even cancer and melanoma, all sorts of different illnesses. But what Rife didn't make a lot of sense to me, is he would take the base frequency and put it on like a passenger on a train, the same way we send music and the news on radio stations. It's called pulse modulation. So FM radio is frequency modulation, AM radio is amplitude modulation. And he would send very low frequencies, because most of Rife's frequencies are within the human hearing range, which is 20 waves per second, 20 hertz, all the way to 20,000 hertz. Most of his frequencies are within that range. Some of them are a little bit higher. So why not, I thought, just pulse not audibly, not acoustically, because acoustic frequency transmission is very weak, because acoustic frequency transmission is just a pressure wave, and it might have some effect. But what I wanted was a magnetic pulse, a very strong magnetic pulse. So people would hold this, and because the tourmaline in the core and the rubies, sapphires, and amethysts, etc., are piezoelectric gems, meaning when they're pulsed with pressure, they emit energy, right? And what actually inspired me is when I saw early research done on the Kirlian aura effect of different gems, and different gems had different magnetic field auras when they were pulsed with an electric discharge. And I thought, why aren't they all the same? Well, it's because of the chemistry of what they're made out of. So basically, also, when I looked in the Bible, I saw the presence of gems on the breastplate of Aaron. There's 12 different gems, and you see, gems in the cubic kingdom of heaven when it comes down upon the earth and the gates of heaven. So why are gems so important to God? Because of their therapeutic and healing energy that they radiate when they're charged. So what makes my pulse electromagnetic field devices superior to so many of them out there is we have electrified gems, real gems, and that makes them, of course, expensive. These start at about $2,000, and they go upwards from there, depending on how many more gems and the materials that a person would want in there, because everything emits, right? So if I put in the gold one, we put literally a gold plate right here on the discharge where the gems are, and the silver one we put real silver and actually more gems on the side band. So that causes more of a potential effect. So anyway, that's where I started. And as I got more and more results, I wanted to know, how is this happening? How is it that people seem to be benefiting from this? And again, it's really sad that I can't even tell you the stories. I can't even tell you the stories of the different things that we got success with because of legal reasons. So customers and users have to be really smart. Like, there's people out there that'll just flat out lie to you, and they're willing to take that risk of being sued. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I can say anything, but I can tell you that there's something really profound happening here. So these things, have also been hijacked and ripped off by many other people. I had a business partner who was doing marketing for me just say, "Oh, don't worry, I'll do all your manufacturing for you in Asia." And he started making them, and they were blowing up people's amplifiers. And he still sells them today, claiming he invented them, but actually he worked for me for 2 years. I'm not even going to name the guy; he's such a crook. But the point is that there are a lot of PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field devices out there. Now, Rife would use a radio carrier wave, again, which didn't make sense to me because the size of the carrier wave was in the order of tens to hundreds of times bigger than the person that you were transmitting into, which means most of the wave was missing the target. And by pulsing the same frequencies that Rife has directly, magnetically, made a lot more sense. And the bottom line is results, right? When you see results, when you see a person reporting that they're feeling more energy, they're feeling more this and they're feeling more that, that's what matters, not what is written on the box. I mean, there are pulsed electromagnetic field devices out there that have only 5 frequency programs they come with. Mine come with hundreds. I have hundreds of frequency programs. And one thing I can tell you from working for Nobel Prize winning and physicists for over 20 years on nuclear fusion and landmine and bomb detection, and being the director of the LA-based Tesla Foundation, having spoken in the United States Congress on nuclear fusion in 1994, and doing thousands of frequency calculations myself, is that certain frequencies are magical on the human nervous system. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're just making frequencies up, like if you see somebody selling you frequencies that say they're going to make you rich because these frequencies attract wealth and abundance, you've got to be really stupid if you believe them. It's just a sales con job, because there are actually frequencies certain bands that are destructive and disharmonious to the human nervous system. So I would be really careful, because one thing I discovered is there's something way beyond frequency, and that is ratio and proportion. Because in music scales, ratio determines everything, whether music sounds beautiful or crazy and disharmonic. So you can't just mix any old frequencies you want together, because they might not work together in a proper harmony or proportion. So in that sense, ratio transcends frequency. It absolutely does, because I can give you two frequencies that sound crazy together, and I can give you two frequencies that are so properly balanced, they sound like a beautiful harmony, a beautiful, beautiful harmony together. So I started designing patterns of ratios of frequency bands that were even more beneficial than single point frequency. So Rife will use a single point frequency to theoretically do what he says it does. And I can't even tell you that legally. But I can tell you that after you do a certain frequency that is supposed to do something, you should always end a session with a harmony. Because when you open the nervous system up to something that's going to be destructive to a certain unwanted, then you want to end your session with a smoothing and a nice harmony. So when you close the door on the human energy field and energy system, then you're closing the door and sealing it up back into a nice smooth rhythm. Now, another thing I've noticed that my customers have reported, and this is one of the hugest problems in the world right now, is sleep. And in fact, the problem of people not being able to sleep is so enormous. It has been blamed on the circadian rhythm of changing our time clocks once a year from daylight savings times. It's been blamed on global warming. I mean, I just read an article just the other day. I mean, there's so many theories, but the problem is that it is so enormous. One thing I've noticed with some of my users, and I've watched this with myself, they'll come to my place and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I'll just try this for 5 minutes." I've had people pass out for 2 hours right in front of me and not wake up, and that's because the harmonies versus the single point frequencies will cause, through the piezoelectric effect, because your bones are calcium, and calcium is a crystal underneath the microscope. And because it's a crystal, which is a metal, calcium is a metal, it's conductive of electricity. And piezoelectricity will through the vibrations will cause it to emit an energy field, and the person will have a deep release. And they'll get so relaxed from this huge energy release from all this pent up tension that they'll go into a deeply relaxed state of consciousness where they can fall asleep. And guess where most illnesses naturally heal? Is when a person can go into deep theta and delta sleep. When the body's super relaxed and super let go, the body knows how to heal itself. But our civilization is so hyperventilating, and we're so stressed out about money in the European and the Western civilization, in fact, all over the world now, that people can't let go. So these systems help a person to cause at the core of the bone, through the piezoelectric effect, your crystal matrix. See, we're about 87% water, and the rest of us is bone and trace minerals and collagen, because our bones and our skin are collagen. So our bones are core calcium, but they're also collagen and trace minerals. So when a person is consumed in fire, and you see the ashes of a human, that is about 12% of the human. So we're mostly hydrogen and oxygen, really. So um, No, that's not a kitty cat in the driveway. That's my husky. So the idea of taking Rife to another level for me, having studied every one of Tesla's patents, being the director of the Tesla Foundation, Tesla never really understood the power of gems, right? He understood the power of generating frequencies through copper coils and Tesla coils and other means, but solid state physics, which led into the hidden properties of different materials and gems, is a whole other science actually. So, but the so we started with the sound of the sun, and again, we're not using the sound part of it. We're taking that and we're transmitting it magnetically. So a magnetic wave will penetrate every single cell in your body hundreds of times deeper than a sound wave will. Hundreds. So it's hundreds of times more effective. And in fact, in Sedona, Arizona, we measured the auras of 7 women before and after sessions using the wand with my Great Pyramid frequencies and the sound of the sun. And here was the main difference between a sound healing session. After a sound healing session, you could see an improvement in the human aura. But only an hour later, that improvement diminished, where the aura shrunk right back down. So the radiance of the person went right back down. But testing these women even 3 days later, from one treatment, their aura was still way brighter than their baseline. So if your baseline is here, they were still way out here. And the reason for that is we've activated their central crystal matrix, which is your bones and your trace minerals. And your sodium is in your blood. Sodium is a salt crystal. So that means the crystals were holding the frequencies way longer than an acoustic healing session. So the person could get the benefits of a single treatment. It might last for 3 or 4 days before they would need another treatment. So Shiroz, can you
Yeah,
talk?
I've got a few questions for you. I just wanted to hear everything you had to say before I ask, but well, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about how you knew it was 3 months, but more importantly, like it appears as though it improves the nervous system. What is it that causes it to do that?
Well, it's again, when you understand piezoelectricity of crystal material, it's if you take a supplement, for example, if you take magnesium, and magnesium
Okay.
again under the microscope is a crystal, and if you don't have an energy source to activate the magnesium as a supplement, it's going to do very little for the body because it needs either heat. So heat is pyroelectric effect.
Okay.
So the body is nice and warm, but it's not very hot. So you're going to get some activity from the digestive system, the chemistry there, taking the magnesium, or you can take a little bit of lithium, which is in pistachios and lemon, which is a very powerful electrolyte. But it's not the same thing as if you're getting pulses of energy. That material, that magnesium or a little bit of lithium, will now emit energy into the body and to give the body more energy for benefits that you want to receive. So it's a very good idea to take certain supplements, within 10 minutes of doing a treatment. I always tell people this: take some magnesium, make sure you're getting enough sodium. Don't believe that salt is bad for you. Our blood is sodium. It's saline. Our tears are saline. If you don't eat any salt, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to lose a lot of energy. And of course, we also need calcium. And our human nervous system loves calcium ions. It's not the calcium. You need calcium for bones and teeth and collagen and trace minerals, but you also need It's more about the energy. So you need the calcium ion. And the way you get the calcium ion is pulsing it with magnetic field energy, right? Because the human aura is a magnetic field. Actually, it's a pulsed magnetic field. So that's why when the sun comes up, we get up. We go to sleep when the sun goes down because we're not getting pulsed anymore. But our magnetic field from the natural EMF, electromagnetic fields from nature, meaning the sun, the earth frequency, the 9 planet frequencies, and the cosmic rays are a huge part of human consciousness. But those get quickly detuned living in an electromagnetic field matrix where you're living inside of, massive apartment buildings and homes that are full of wires and power lines, and now we've got the arrival of these microwave towers, powering our cell phones and the internet. We're surrounded by them, so we're getting pulsed. And if you walk around with one of these, you go to trifield.com and get the new TF2 and put it in radio frequency mode and walk around, you're going to be shocked at how much microwave activity is bombarding the human system. So we're also getting spiritually detuned because the natural EMF that's trying to come in from the sun, the 9 planets, and the cosmos is so weak. Within your nervous system is getting detuned. And if you've ever played a untuned instrument, it doesn't make you feel very good to listen to it. So we're becoming detuned instruments on a daily basis. So we need to be retuned. And the way you would retune the nervous system properly, you could do some sound healing. Although, like I said, it doesn't hold. Even an hour later, the aura, the magnetic field of the human will diminish. In fact, at Dartmouth College in the United States, the magnetic field of the human heart was actually scientifically proven and measured. A lot of doctors don't even know this. This was done at a major university study that using squid magnetometers, which are super sensitive to very weak magnetic fields, they could see the human brain and the human heart had magnetic fields. The human heart magnetic field is way bigger than the brain. I forget the order of magnitude bigger, but it's over 4 times bigger than the brain's magnetic field. So if you think of a magnetic field, like what Pythagoras actually called the human body is an instrument. It's called the musica humana, which is why we respond very nicely to music, right? So, but if you're getting bombarded by totally non-proper ratio frequencies from the microwave towers and the 60 cycles per second coming in the electricity in the walls, 60 cycles is the upper gamma part of the brain. That's hyperactivity for a human brain. No wonder a lot of people can't sleep.
David, I have another question. I don't really understand the answer to the question I asked previously fully because, well, first of all, I don't understand. So there's frequency. It's a sound wave. It's coming through the device.
No, there's no sound wave coming through the device. Sound is a pressure wave.
Okay.
So sound is produced by pressure. In fact, sound, which travels a little over 760 miles an hour at sea level, guess how fast sound travels through aluminum? This is aluminum.
Right.
Over
Right.
11,000 miles an hour. Way faster.
And that's why you use aluminum?
Well, yeah, exactly. But also because if sound goes through water, the speed of sound in water, here, I'll just Google it for you. This is gonna shock you, but it's way faster than air, right? So, because again, you're mostly water. You're
Right.
Depending on how hydrated you are, speed of sound in water is speed of sound in the air is 767 miles per hour. The speed of sound in water Okay. Speed of sound in water, miles per hour, because it keeps sending me the metric. Okay, I don't want to see the metric. Everything's in metric these days.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's faster. I can't find it because everything's in metric. It's 343 meters per second. Sound travels fast. So actually, the fastest metal that sound travels through is beryllium. But beryllium is toxic
Right.
to the human nervous system and body.
But
Like,
some people would tell you aluminum is toxic, but would you tell us why it wouldn't
no,
be for the wand?
aluminum chemically, we have everything in our body. Okay, we have gold, we
Yeah,
have
right.
uranium, we actually have uranium in our bodies. We have traces of everything.
Yeah.
But yes, too much aluminum chemically
Even
in the body
cyanide.
is toxic.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that aluminum is also paramagnetic, which is positive magnetism, right? So it has incredible benefits. Magnetically, it does. But we even have a little bit of gold in us. In fact, we lost a lot of the gold in us because we took the gold out of the river, so we don't have it in the water so much anymore. And we took the silver also, so we don't have the silver. And again, it's not physical gold and silver that your body loves, it's the ion that it gives off. So if I use a true gold one, not gold plated, real gold. I mean, we have people, like, you can literally buy one of these wands for $2,000 or whatever the baseline price is, and attach a 1 ounce minted gold coin to the face, and it will, because it's being pulsed in the magnetic field, it will emit gold auric energy, real gold auric energy, into the body. And that way, if you need to sell your gold coin, you can do that. But we also put them in for people, a true ounce of gold in the gold wands. Yeah,
So
they're expensive.
people who wear gold and work with the wand would have an added benefit?
Well, if you hold it right up next to it, so if you had a true, like, this is solid gold in my pendant. This is
Yeah.
Egyptian Aswan granite, which is the core masonry of the Great Pyramid, and this is an alexandrite, 8 millimeter alexandrite, which is one of the most expensive gems on the planet. It's not easy to get one of those. But if I hold the wand right here, although this has already been programmed, and I have it on my thymus gland, right here. So there's a reason for that. We also, I should do a whole talk just on the pendants. I mean,
Yes, you should.
how they're done.
We
So
will.
today we're just focusing on the wand. Next week,
Back to the wand, and
yeah.
back to a little bit back to the
Oh, wait, the
frequency.
shape of the magnetic field. So when this is turned on,
Yeah.
it looks like a tube torus.
Yeah.
The
That's right.
magnetic field is a huge donut. I can measure it with a sensitive meter 30 feet away. So that means
Somebody doesn't necessarily have to hold it then. They can have it just beside them, right?
yeah. So again, depending on what you put in this, right? Silver, gold, the highest quality lab grown rubies. People couldn't afford real rubies. I mean, I've got a 10 millimeter ruby in this thing. If it's lab grown, so under the microscope, it is a ruby. It's absolutely pure. It's made from the best lab grown ruby manufacturer. If that was a real ruby, it would be a minimum of $30,000. And of course, nobody's going to do that. I mean, so, when people tell me about the prices, go look at all PMF devices out there. Let's just go to price. They'll start at $1,300 and they're pieces of junk. They have nothing in them. And as soon as you start building one that has, I mean, we have drilled out tourmaline with an electrode passing through the tourmaline in the core of every wand. And so that means the tourmaline gem, which is also high in lithium crystal, will emit piezoelectric auric energy into the body. So as soon as you start adding your quality emitters in your PMF device, and then you connect it to a
It,
good amp. There's amps
you,
I recommend, but people can use any stereo amp. Then there's my frequency library. And of course, Rife is universal, right? Anybody can use Rife frequencies for free if you know how to generate them. But I have an enormous frequency library. I mean, I'm going to have
okay,
to
so
spend.
let me just ask you this question about your frequency library. So when they look at Rife frequencies, they'll see, I don't know,
I think
arthritis.
David needs to do a video with Ralph Ring. Ralph Ring passed away, and he was in my house with his wife in Sedona in the early days, right? So that would have been, somewhere around 12, 13 years ago. Yeah. And he's somebody that really understands this very, very well.
Okay, just answer this question though. The Rife frequency, if somebody is using Rife frequencies, they'll go to their arthritis frequency or diabetes frequency or whatever it is, and then they'll use it. But when it comes to David Sereda frequencies, how does one know which frequency to use?
Okay, first of all, you can still use any Rife frequency
Yes,
with any of my devices.
right.
And second of all, my frequencies are complex. As I mentioned before, ratio, which is combinations of
Yeah.
frequencies in proper mathematical proportions, are more powerful than single point frequencies like Rife.
So would you say because they're harmonic, then they're holistic? So if you're using the frequency of the sun, it's working on your whole
Yeah, the
body?
sun has hundreds of frequency bands in it. It's
I
not.
know, but does that mean when you're working with that set of frequencies, it's gonna work on your whole body?
Well, one thing here's one. We did a study with the Aura camera in Russia. This was way before the war. This would have been, in 2007, where we pulsed subjects with the sound of the sun. And guess what happened? I mean, I wish I had the graphic to show people, but this was so long ago. All the energy in the body shut down. The aura diminished except the heart. The human heart got huge. Its energy field. So the sound of the sun is the heart. It's the heart of the human
Yeah,
being.
yeah,
It's the pulse of your heart. And your heart inversely transmits infrared light at the speed of light back to the sun, right? Which is only 8.3 minutes away at this 8 minutes and 21 seconds at the speed of light. So that means the heart and our hearts are all pulsing, are in this symbiosis with the pulses of our own local star. So we're in this relationship. When I saw the results of the study on the sound of the sun and the chakra, so this GDV aura camera could measure amplitude of light energy, because light is energy coming off of all of the chakras, the 7 energy centers. So the heart basically increased in amplitude, and all the other ones had to decrease in amplitude because they had to get the energy. The heart had to get the energy from somewhere, so it took it from everywhere else and increased. Of course, the heart is love, it's circulation, it's bliss. So incredible, right?
yeah. Very
Yeah.
incredible.
Selwyn Sinclair. Yeah, we have all those frequencies you're talking about, but see, those are single point frequencies, so they need to be in proper ratio, because ratio transcends frequency. You have to understand, you have 7 energy centers in the body, and then you have 3 more crown chakra points out of the body, so you have 10 points actually. So, and you can experience those energetically yourself. So that means each one of these is operating at a different frequency all the time. So if I just send you 432 hertz, you can't just live on 432 hertz, because then energy will become stagnant. It won't circulate and move around, right? It won't shift, because we're not one frequency. We are a musical system, and a musical system has multiple core frequencies, 7 to 12 to 14, multiplied by octaves, right? And then you have proportions like a major third and a perfect fifth, and in our music scale, and your body understands what a major third is and a fifth musically, because when you experience it, you start to have feelings and emotions, right? So in the same way, when you listen acoustically to music, you have feelings and emotions. When you transmit magnetically, you have the same thing happen, but it actually happens on a much deeper level, because a magnetic wave, which is what our sun is doing, our sun isn't just photosynthetic. So all the plants are living on photosynthesis. The human nervous system and our skin and galvanic skin response is all responding to sunlight. The sun is also sending out magnetic pulses at the same time as the 9 colors. So you got 9 colors coming off the sun in the trillion hertz bands. And then I actually did this. I have these frequencies for everyone to use using color band frequencies with their wand. You get the 9 color frequencies times 8 octaves in span the audible spectrum of the body. So the audible spectrum of the human ear body, you got 9 times 8 is 72 frequencies. And actually, Jesus said in the Gospel of Philip that if you take 9 colors and throw them into 72 colors and throw them into a vat, and they all come out white. Remember, you got 8 octaves in the music scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, times your 9 colors is 72. So that's in the Gospel of Philip. So he's talking about activating the light body with the frequency music scale of the color bands. I have all those. But also, there are a total of 432 total octaves of all the 9 colors, starting from the sun, the frequency that they come off the sun at, all the way down to the delta part of the brain, which is the deepest part of the brain. There's 432 color frequencies. And so we can work with all of those, is what I'm saying. What amazed me when I did my color study, I did this all mathematically myself. I started at the highest absorption peaks on all your colors, right? So you have red, orange, yellow, lemon, indigo, turquoise, blue, indigo, and violet, right? You have all your colors. And when you start at the peak, exact frequency of the highest absorption of all those colors, and you come all the way down a musical octave, I was looking for what is the Tesla-Schumann resonance of Earth, 7.83 hertz fundamental. What does that fall into in the color bands? And guess what? Earth is green. And guess what green is? It's the heart chakra, the sun. And also, as far as I can see, the grass is green and the trees are all green, which is the core color band of nature on this planet. And then you have fragmentary colors in your flowers and everywhere else. So that means that the majority of the earth is tuned to green, the heart chakra. Remember, the sun expanded the human heart. So that means when you do the sound of the sun magnetically, you're building your heart field, right? And again, at Dartmouth College, they measured the actual magnetic field of the human heart, and it's many times stronger.
But the rest of the aura diminished. So is that detrimental then, or?
No, it's just showing. See, you only have so much energy in the human aura, so basically, it just displaces momentarily to have a heart expansion experience.
Right.
But it also says, like, if I look on an infrared camera of the human body, most of the light, I did this. I got these $4,000 military goggles because we were going looking for UFOs, my wife and I, with this group in Sedona. And I accidentally had my goggles near her chest and they blinded me. It actually hurt my eyes. I ripped my goggles off and went, oh my God, the human heart has so much light coming off of it. And yes, there's light coming off your hands and feet, but most of it is coming from right here. And this infrared light coming off your chest travels at the speed of light. And that means in about 4.5 hours, you've transmitted all the way past Pluto, the entire solar system, in just 4.5 hours. So we're transmitting continuously. And of course, in 8 point something years, your light will reach the star of Sirius, right? When you're 8 point something years old, because that's how far it is away at the speed of light. So our light is really an integral part of this universe. And your experience is encoded in the light itself.
Somebody's asking Revelation 21:18, and the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city pure gold, like unto clear glass. How can gold be turned into glass like material?
I don't know how gold could be turned into glass like material, but these are great examples in the Bible of the healing power of gemstones. I mean, I know that Jasper is an iron-based crystal matrix chemically, so it's got a lot of iron. So if you pulse activate it, it's going to give off an iron aura, which of course is good for human blood, right? Yeah, I mean, when you get into the speed of light, that's a whole other argument. I mean, Tesla actually demonstrated faster than the current light speed radio transmissions using alternating current radio as opposed to direct current radio. So I definitely have done huge studies into faster than light energies. In fact, Fritz Albert Popp, a German biophysicist, proved that the living light coming off the human body has a faster than light component, or even an action at a distance component, which is instantaneous over any distance. But I'm talking about the electromagnetic spectrum as we understand it. That means as we understand it. That doesn't mean we understand it. It means as we understand it, travels at, the speed of light when it was measured in Irvine in the tunnel by, I'm trying to remember the name of physicists, because I used to work with the Advanced Physics Corporation right in Irvine, California, with Bojan Castelmagos. I had access to Glenn Seaborg, Murray Gell-Mann, Norman Rostocker, and so many so many brilliant physicists. I mean, I was around these guys a lot. And so the faster than light energy component is something that I've done huge studies into. So I believe part of the human light body is transmitting instantaneously. And if you could isolate and get rid of the very slow speed of light part of the human experience, you would see the universe in real time as it is. And I've been able to do that in practicing meditation every day for 45 years. You eventually learn how to do this and see the real universe. High voltage is plasma anyway. Plasma field, yeah, it's all plasma. If you could see the gases that surround the human body as they're charged by the electromagnetic discharges that the body is receiving and emitting, you would see that we're in a vortex. See, our chakras are wheels that are spinning, right? They're spinning wheels. We've actually seen this with real cameras. This was in my film, The Voice. It was Roger Nelson at Princeton who supplied the image in this pitch black room. They used this $600,000 Mitsubishi camera, and you could see a very grainy image of the crown chakra on this meditator, and it was a vortex spinning funnel coming into the top of the head. It was very grainy, but you could clearly see the structure. So again, with the wand, the magnetic field is a torus. It's a tube torus, so it's a donut. And it's spinning at a minimum of the speed of light. So you got this, when you're using this thing and it's plugged in and you're pulsing frequencies, you're spinning at the speed of light. It's too fast, obviously, to demonstrate. So when you hold it in front of the chest, even onto the third eye. You can really activate your pineal gland by doing this with it. You're inside a spinning wheel of light. This is a very, very powerful tool. And if you take care of this, it will last you the rest of your life. So the way PMF devices work is you have your emitter. This is the emitter, which contains tourmaline gems in the core. And it has the lab-grown rubies. And of course, people can get real rubies if you want to spend the money on them. We'll put them in there for you. You can get sapphires, rubies, amethyst. You can get anything in there. And then you have, so this is your emitter. And your emitter connects to your amplifier. And your amplifier connects to the sources of your frequency files. Now, most PMF devices out there, it's all one unit. And they're usually made like garbage in China somewhere. And the quality of your amplifier is very poor. So anybody can tell you if you use a good amplifier to amplify your signal, then you're going to get a higher quality signal, right? So that's why I don't make them in one single unit, because also if you buy one of these devices and the amplifier breaks, who's going to fix it, right? Because everything breaks, guaranteed, everything breaks. But this won't break unless you throw it on the pavement or the hard floor. Then we have to repair it. But that'll last you 100 years or more. But your amplifier is going to break one day, and you just get a new one or repair it. By having the three components separate, it's far easier to repair. So that means that it's superior to have your emitter separate from your amplifier and your frequency source, because you can repair this thing you can use this thing 100 years from now. Whereas I guarantee you the ones that people are buying, I'm not going to name the companies, but they're garbage, and they like the plastic console and how simple the buttons are, but then they're going to break. And when they break, who's going to fix it? So there you go, everybody. My website is davidsereda.co, my company. It's written right underneath my name, right underneath my face here to the lower left. That's my website. You can just go to the wands and check them out. And Sharoz can help anybody with any questions. Any more questions?
Guys, feel free to call or email or text. Once you get to the website, all our contact information is there. Happy to help anyone understand as much as you need to before you make your purchase if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, plastic is an insulator. There are many things that scientists thought were insulators in the old days, and then they turned out to be wrong. I mean, I've read so many solid state physics manuals, and that we're always being surprised by material science. So science is not absolute; it's never absolute. We're always finding out more about the properties of materials were studied at Bell Labs in New Jersey in the early days. Some of the best work ever in the history of electronics was done at Bell Labs. And I used to have those old Bell Lab manuals, and I went through them very slowly. It took years to go through them and study them. I'm the most impressed with the power of different gems emitting into the body to affect consciousness. I mean, a lot of my users buy my devices not for healing, not for treating illnesses, but for expanding consciousness. Probably at least half of my users get them for that reason, and they have spectacular dreams. Frequencies can change the coincidences in your life, which is who you're going to meet, what, when, and where, and how, and open up expanded understanding. And it's amazing how frequencies can open up expanded understanding. So it's not just about, is there anything wrong with me? Do I need one of these things? It's actually about, do I want to expand my energetic field of awareness so that I can see more of what's going on in my universe? Okay, everybody, have a good day. Check out davidsereda.co. Next week, I'll be here to talk about another product, and then I'll go into my frequency library. We actually have a lot of different types of emitters. You know, we have wands and staffs, ambient coils, beds, coil beds, and the regular wands. And we also have just audible frequency meditation courses. So all my price points start really low. And then, of course, when you're buying things with expensive gems and materials and silver, it gets expensive. But one thing about these devices, they'll last you your whole life. So there you go.
Okay, David. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone. Call me, email me, text me if you need anything. Put my number in here. There you go. Okay, bye, everyone. The next transmission is this Wednesday at 7 p.m. PST. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks, Peggy. Have a great day, Peggy. Welcome, Scott. Thank you. If you have any questions right now, you can just text me and we can schedule a time. That's kind of neat, Solon. Should have told David when he was here. He's gone now. Next week, maybe. Have a great week, guys. I'm gonna sign off. You're welcome, Lily.